Hey, welcome to the channel. I am musically malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. We are in the 2013 album from 21 Pilots called Vessel. This album is blowing my mind. This is track number 3. I guess speaking of minds, track number 3, Migraine. Let's give it a listen and discuss it on the other end.
Waging my wars behind my face and above my throat.
Is this that instrument that you place the tube in your mouth? A talk box, which obviously could be emulated by a digital effect, but that's what it sounds like. Um, the talk box. You put the tube in your mouth and you like sing while you play keys, and it. Wow, I was about to say ovulates. Hold on, isn't I know what ovulating is. Yeah, okay. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now. All I want to think is ovulate, but that is 100% not it. Um, I don't know. Okay, I'll move on. I cannot think of the right word, but I know it is not. It doesn't make your voice ovulate. That would be very, very strange. Okay, let's get back into it.
Shadows will scream that I'm alone. I've got a migraine, and my pain will range from up, down, and sideways. Thank God it's Friday, cause Fridays will always be better than Sundays, cause Sundays are my suicide days. I don't know why they always seem so dismal. Thunderstorms, clouds, snow, and a slight drizzle. Whether it's the weather or the letters by my bed, sometimes death seems better than the migraine in my head. Let it be said what the headache represents. It's me defending in suspense, it's me suspended in a defenseless test, being tested by a ruthless examiner that's represented best by my depressing thoughts. I do not have writer's block, my reader just hates the clock. It will not let me sleep, I get so sleep when I'm dead. And sometimes death seems better than the migraine in my head. Am I the only one I know? Waging my wars behind my face and above my throat.
Okay, before it gets into the next verse, and again, we always look at the lyrics in a bit deeper on the other end, but when stuff stands out, I can't help but talk about it a little bit. I mean, the idea that he wrote a song, it's not just migraine metaphorically. I mean, he is speaking of a migraine, and I have known plenty of people in my life to suffer from migraines that it's debilitating. I can't imagine that I've ever actually had a migraine. I feel like if I have, I would know it. Obviously, I've had headaches, but it is not a common occurrence in my life. I can't honestly remember the last time that I had a headache. And yet, I do know so many people who suffer from migraines, and that it is just disorienting, and it makes, I mean, I know what it means to be sick, and like having COVID or something like that. That was just debilitating. You almost can't even sleep, at least when I've had it, because even laying in my bed is just painful. I used to think like sick days are kind of fun, because you get an excuse to not go to school or not go to work, or, for myself, most of the time I'm self-employed. And so it's kind of like this excuse to not work because you're like, yeah, I just don't feel good. I need to recover. And so I'll take some time to rest. But even feeling that way, it's like, it's not even fun. I can't watch a movie. I can't enjoy a video game. And then you just lay and sleep, and that becomes painful. Anyways, say all that to say, I can only imagine like a migraine trying to move throughout the world and do the things you're meant to do. And it's just whatever, the pressure and the disorientation. So for him to write a song that I'm sure speaks to so many people, and obviously in the way that they write, it is just so beautiful. Waging wars behind my face, above my throat. So that feeling, right, of in here. Shadows scream, I'm alone, lone, lone. I got a migraine. And I love the way he said, I. It's almost like this. It reminds me of maybe this pounding. I. Up, down, sideways. Thank God it's Friday, because Fridays will always be better than Sundays, because Friday going into the weekend, maybe at least he can deal with the migraine without the responsibilities of work. But the idea of a Sunday having a migraine, going to work the next day, you know, in that idea, it's like I'd rather be dead than go do that. Man, okay, we'll get into the other stuff in a minute, but gosh, that's so cool.
Shadows will scream that I'm alone, but I know we've made it this far, kid. Yeah. I am not as fine as I seem. Pardon me for yelling, I'm telling you, green gardens are not what's growing in my psyche. It's a different me, a difficult to beast, a feasting umber down trees, freeze frame. Please let me paint a mental picture portrait, something you won't forget. It's all about my forehead and how it is a torque that holds back contents that make Pandora's box contents look non-violent. Behind my eyelids are islands of violence. My mind shipwrecked, this is the only land my mind could find. I did not know it was such a violent island, full of tidal waves, suicidal crazed lions. They're trying to eat me, blood running down the chin, and I know that I can fight her, I can let the lion win. I begin to assemble what weapons I can find, cause sometimes to stay alive you gotta kill your mind. Am I the only one I know, waging my wars behind my face and above my throat? Shadows will scream that I'm alone.
I'm trying to figure out, it definitely could be my headphone settings, but the bass in this song, like I said, I'll listen to it in my AirPods or in my truck, but I'm trying to figure out, just because I haven't noticed it, so it could just be how hard the bass is hitting in this song. But I'd be curious to see is if the bass is meant to be distorted. Because at least for me and my headphones, normally, you know, I mean, they handle bass really well, but like the bass is very distorted. So that could totally be a me thing, but I'll be curious to see after obviously listening to this song, when I listen to it another time, if it is that, and if that's supposed to be like with the theming of the song, this disorienting kind of like pounding.
But I know we've made it this far, kid. Say that we should take a day to break away from all the pain our brain has made. The game is not played alone. And I would say that we should take a moment and hold it and keep it frozen and know that life has a hopeful undertone. And I would say that we should take a day to break away from all the pain our brain has made. The game is not played alone.
I also saw a video of, I don't remember what song it was. It actually might have been Slowtown, because I've been trying to get Slowtown up on Patreon. Fighting the copyright stuff for the Regional at Best album. But I did see a video of somebody that had filmed them performing this live, and Josh was over at the piano tapping on the top of the piano. That's what this sounds like.
And I will say that we should take a moment and hold it and keep it frozen and know that life has a hopeful undertone. Am I the only one I know, waging my wars behind my face and above my throat? Shadows will scream that I'm alone, but I know we've made it this far, kid. We've made it this far. We've made it this far.
Wow, what an interesting way to end, because he did, not me. And obviously, if you've listened to the song, you know he cuts it all. He's like, it's almost this hopeful. We've made it this far. We've made it this, like that. That's as far as he made it. That's really interesting. Oh man. Well, it obviously there seems like, yes, it's speaking literally to a migraine, but obviously there are other things going on here, other undertones in the music, and maybe thoughts or feelings that are incited by the pain and annoyance of a migraine, but also maybe just speaking to kind of like not a literal migraine, but like metaphorically speaking. But let's, excuse me, let's jump on over, take a look at what has been said about this track. Migraine first appeared on the EP, 3 songs, along with Guns for Hands and Ode to Sleep. Lead singer Tyler expressed on a track-by-track analysis, which we will take a look at on Patreon, that the migraine itself is a metaphor. Okay, that's what I was saying. He explains that a headache in general isn't necessarily the problem, but a migraine is an alarm that is triggered whenever something wrong occurs in your head. He goes on to explain that this song literally is a migraine, an alarm, to let the listener know something is wrong in the world. Tyler considers Migraine as one of his greatest lyrical achievements and spoke about it in the 2013 interview with Rock Sound. I wrote the poetry long before I wrote the music for it. You can psych yourself out when you write the poetry first, and then you just fall in love with the way that you said this thing. Then you're worried about the song part of it that's going to go with it, and you're very protective of it, almost defending it. I'm really excited that I found the right song for it, and it's one of my favorite ones to deliver live. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Tyler shed some light on the meaning behind this track. No, I didn't really have a migraine when I wrote the song. I've had a migraine before. Actually, I've only had one, and it was awful. I'm not actually talking about a headache here. To me, the headache in the song, the migraine, represents an issue. If you think about what a headache is, the hurting isn't the issue. The hurting in your head is your body telling you there's something else wrong that needs to be fixed. Whether you're dehydrated, you're not getting enough sleep, your body is not getting what it needs, so it ultimately sets off an alarm that's saying there's something wrong. Your body gets your attention through pain. So if you take that example of how your body works and you think about how your psyche works, I think that headache psychologically could indicate there's something wrong. And that was ultimately what I was trying to express. There's something wrong. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's something wrong with the world, obviously, right? In the chorus, it really just asks if there's anyone else who feels that too. It's a cool feeling when people tell me that they also feel that. It makes me feel like I'm not alone in going through what we're going through. Yes, it is, however, a promotional video as opposed to an official video. It features Tyler playing on a little cheap keyboard in the park. It's commonly called the Toy Piano Edition. Saving that one. Oh my gosh, we have so much good content, dude, to go through on Patreon. Okay, let's read this because I think it's important to continue to just keep diving into how Tyler thinks. He made some comments. As a songwriter, I like to emit some sort of message, almost like a ripple in the water. When I feel that ripple bounce off someone else and it resonates, what it is I'm going through, it starts to come back to me. Just a cool feeling, lets me know that I'm not alone. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying, and what our approach has been is not feeling the need to analyze this to death. First and foremost, we enjoy the music for what the music is. Secondly, there is a message that's meant to be communicated, and that we'll kind of chase it down as much as I, feel comfortable with, but I'm fine leaving some things without a literal answer, and you can kind of just feel what's being communicated. So yeah, that's honestly what I was saying as well. Is I do think people that suffer from migraines can relate to the literal side of this, but that he's also speaking about something, not just a literal migraine. Am I the only one I know waging my wars behind my face and my throat? Shadows will scream that I'm alone. So yes, just waging war whether you're literally feeling a migraine and waging war or just in your mind. My pain ranges up, down, sideways. It's disorienting. Thank God it's Friday, right? Because you're going into the weekend, better than Sundays. Sundays are my suicide days because you're thinking about stepping back into the week. I don't know why they always seem so dismal. Thunderstorms, clouds, snow, and a slight drizzle. Whether it's the weather or the letters by my bed, sometimes death seems better than the migraine in my head. Let it be said what the headache represents. It's me defending in suspense. It's me suspended in a defenseless test. Wow. Being tested by a ruthless examiner that's represented best by my depressing thoughts. So the examiner is represented by his depressing thoughts. I don't have writer's block. My writer just hates the clock. It will not let me sleep. I guess I'll sleep when I'm dead, and sometimes death seems better than the migraine in my head. That's interesting too, this idea. I don't have writer's block. So it's like he's admitting, no, I don't really have too much trouble writing songs and coming up with ideas and these concepts. It's just, it sounds to me, it's like, but I would rather do that in the afternoon. I'd rather do that in the morning. I'd rather do that between 9 to 5. But now I'm up at night and my mind is racing because my writer, the writer in me, hates the clock, or in a way like doesn't pay attention to the clock. You know, when inspiration hits me, again, a lot of times it sounds like Tyler writing out of these episodes that he has in the evenings when his mind starts, racing. It's like that's when his writer wakes up and it won't let him sleep. It's awesome. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't feel awesome sometimes, but he's really blessed us with that gift. Am I the only one I know? Okay, back into that. I am not as fine as I seem. Pardon me for yelling. I'm telling you, green gardens are not what's growing in my psyche. It's a different me, a difficult beast feasting on burnt down trees. Wow. Freeze frame. Please let me paint a mental picture portrait. Something you won't forget. It's all about my forehead. And how it is a door that holds back contents. So yeah, he's just speaking to what's all going on inside of his head. And it's interesting that painting that picture too of like, I'm telling you green gardens, that what's in my head is this beautiful landscape of gardens and flowers and bushes and trees and paths. And then I can see it, the way he's painting it, what's different me. What's growing in my psyche is a different me, a difficult beast feasting on burnt down trees. And so it is this picture. It's almost like if you remember in The Matrix, when Neo is shown the world as it truly is, because obviously the Matrix means they're plugged into a program. And so what they're viewing isn't reality. So when they're shown what cities really look like, it's just destroyed, burnt down. It looks like a nuke went off, And that's what I'm seeing. And there's this beast that's feeding on these burnt trees. And so, man. Yeah, I wasn't able to, I think, paint that picture well for you guys, but I can see what he's trying to say. And it is just this like waste of a landscape. And yet the beast inside of him loves it that way. You know what I mean? How it's a door that holds back contents that makes Pandora's box contents look non-violent. Now, Pandora's box, wasn't that supposed to be like the seat of creation? And I always know it's always like, oh, you've opened Pandora's box. Let's take a look for a second. And let's just get on the same page together. It's actually the origin of suffering. Okay, interesting. Pandora was the first woman, according to myth, it's Greek mythology, created by the gods, particularly Zeus, as part of a plan to punish humanity after Prometheus gave fire to mankind. The gods gave her many gifts. Speaking of which, just because that's what we do here, we kind of we chase things. Do you guys remember this? Prometheus claymation? Yes, Prometheus and Bob. I think this used to come on late at night, maybe on Adult Swim back on Cartoon Network. Anybody remember this? Oh my gosh, dude. It's Prometheus, this like advanced being with Bob, the caveman, and he would show him things. Okay. So, where were we? Okay. So the gods gave her many gifts, including beauty, charm, and curiosity. They also gave her a sealed jar, often called a box, with strict instructions not to open it. Overcome by curiosity, Pandora eventually opened the jar, and out flew all the evils of the world: sickness, pain, jealousy, greed, and death. Frightened, she quickly closed it, but the damage was done. Wow, that's epic. Only hope remained trapped inside. Wow. The phrase opening Pandora's box has since become a metaphor for doing something that seems small or harmless, but unexpectedly causes great trouble or releases uncontrollable problems. Wow. Okay. So back over to here. Oh, I guess I could have clicked here for Pandora's box. I don't know. Sometimes the annotations on Genius are annoying me a little bit right now. So that makes Pandora's box contents look non-violent. He's just saying, obviously, like what's going on inside of his head is intense. My mind shipwrecked. This is the only land my mind could find. Oh, behind my eyelids are islands of violence. Like that's so vivid. His mind, like what's going on inside of his mind, the only land it could find were the islands of violence, and it's like shipwrecked there. It's stuck there. I did not know it was such a violent island. Bullet, tidal waves, suicidal, crazed lions. That would be a really traumatizing children's book. The Islands of Violence. They're trying to eat me, blood running down their chin, and I know that I can fight or I can let the lion win. I begin to assemble what weapons I can find, because sometimes to stay alive, you gotta kill your mind. Which obviously even speaks back to one of the earlier songs on the album, was this taking control of your mind, fighting back, not just being a slave to your thoughts, as hard as that can be, but it is also something we learn. All right, there's more here. I will say we should take a day to break away from all the pain our brain has made. The game is not played alone. And I will say that we should take a day to break away from all the pain our brain has made. The game is not played alone. And I will say we should take a moment and hold it and keep it frozen and know that life has a hopeful undertone. Oh, okay, just this idea, I'm assuming, if he's speaking to like people. We need to be with people. We need others fighting with us, playing this game with us, this game of life. Take a moment, keep it frozen, know that life has a hopeful undertone. So maybe these moments that he does experience where he's kind of pushed past that and doesn't feel that way, like freeze those and hold on to them and remember, because that's the hardest part, right? When you feel hopeless, like to remember you're not hopeless. There is an end to this suffering. There is another side, but it's so hard to see that when you're in the midst of it. But if he can freeze frame these moments and remember life does have hope. And that's about where it wraps up. Oh my goodness, dude. This album is so special. So special. I'm honestly stunned. I liked Self-Titled. I'm not like, listen, one of my favorite CDs growing up was All American Rejects. I don't even remember the album. It was their first album, I think. It was the one with like the rusty go-kart on it. Swing, swing from the tangles of my heart is crushed by a form of love. That whole album kind of has that same really young, raw feeling. I'm not trying to compare the two, although I do still, All American Rejects continued to evolve and produce some pretty interesting stuff. However, it's just kind of that young, raw sound. And so it doesn't bother me at all. Self-Titled was perfectly fine for me. But just in the 2 years or so between that and this, the evolution and growth and refinement is at another level. So it's incredible. All right. Well, let's have a conversation in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And thanks for being with me for this one. I hope to see you in the next one because we're eating good.